Hi, if you're watching this video, it's probably because there's something in your life that has not turned out how you would like it to be, or you're finding that life's just a little too hard and stressful right now, or other people are causing you grief, or in general there's just something in your life that you're not happy with. Things just aren't working out how you'd like them to. And you're wondering, how do I change this? How do I fix this? How do I make my life better? So there's three things that right away I think you can do to make your life better, to overcome the challenges you're facing. One is to recognize that your thoughts are what turns into actual things. Thoughts are things. What you think about in your mind is usually what ends up being done. So I'll give you an example. If I'm thinking that so-and-so at my day job is just this negative person, this horrible person, then the thing that happens from those thoughts is that I'm not going to support that person at all. I'm going to avoid that person. I'm going to do the best I can to maybe even upend or sabotage that person. And that's all because in my mind I have this belief, this thought that this person is a bad person. They're a negative person. They're not that good of a person. And the reality may be that this person I think is bad is actually an essential piece of the company. They're an influencer that has a key say in promotions or raises or bonuses. And if I hold on to this belief about this person that they're horrible, I'm really going to limit myself. And that's the thoughts are things principle, number one. Number two is questioning yourself and everything around you, and even your assumptions about other people. And this kind of ties into the first thing. So let's take that person you think is just so horrible and negative and ruining your life. Is what you're thinking really the case about that person? Have you sat down and tried to talk to that person in a calm and meaningful and realistic way? Have you been sincere with that person and said, I would like to get to know you and understand you and why you do the things you do? Have you spent time just talking to that person normal, like in a regular conversation? Questioning yourself and everything around you. Why are you at the job you're at? Why are you making the money you're making right now? What could you do to make more money than you're making right now? How is your marriage doing? Is it doing well? If it's not doing well, why not? And you just take a kind of a giant retrospective of your entire life and you ask why and how and everything in between. And when you start to ask those questions and you do it in a way where you're humble about it, where you're in a position where you recognize that you may not even be right about a lot of things, then that puts you in a position to actually receive an answer and act on it. And you'll begin to think new thoughts, which will create new things, and you'll start to have different beliefs and be able to ask even better questions, which will kind of snowball and create a better situation for you. Number three, create empowering habits instead of mundane and monotonous habits. So an empowering habit is something that's going to move you forward to what you really desire. A mundane habit is something that takes you away from what you desire. So what are some mundane habits? Checking Twitter, Facebook, Google Analytics, news websites, surfing the internet, those kinds of things done all the time over and over to the point where it's almost an addiction. That's a mundane habit because you're to the point where you're not even consciously doing it. You're just doing it because it's a habit. You're programmed to do that when you sit at a computer. And you want to avoid those habits. Instead, replace them with habits like this. Getting up early in the morning and going for a walk. Playing a CD of some uplifting music or dialogue. Doing push-ups and working out. You know, you see behind me I have this workout tower and an inversion table. I use that inversion table for my back, and it's a habit now, so I do it every day. And that tower, it's now a habit when I come into this room to do pull-ups. And so I don't even think about it anymore. And those are empowering habits because I'm getting stronger. So anything that's easy and quick to do, that's going to help you move forward, be stronger, be smarter, be more prepared, that's a good habit. Try studying for 15 minutes every day in the morning or at night on a new topic and learning it. And you'll find that that becomes your default habit on your computer instead of checking Facebook, Twitter, and news websites, just as an example. So let me recap. Thoughts are things, number one. Number two, question yourself and everything around you. And number three, create empowering habits instead of mundane habits. And those are three things you can start right now to turn your life around. I'm in a unique position. I'm a husband and father. I have 2 kids, one of which you can see behind me right there on her computer. And I've turned my life around a little bit. I used to be about 50 pounds overweight, and I was fortunate enough to overcome that. I used to be a World of Warcraft addict. It's all I would do every day. And I now have shifted from that habit to a creation habit of multiple websites. I wrote a book, and I've done a lot of cool things because I was able to apply those 3 principles I just shared. So, what's in it for you? Well, first off, take those 3 principles I shared and start acting on them right away. 1, thoughts are things, so be very guarded in your mind about what you think about. 2, question everything around you and yourself. 3, create empowering habits instead of mundane habits. And what I'd like you to do is just share your biggest challenge and your biggest desire in a comment below. And let's talk about it. Let's begin the discussion. As one of my principles, I talked about questioning yourself and everything around you. Well, let's start asking some questions about your biggest challenge and biggest desire. I think we'll move forward in the progress you're looking to make in your life. So thanks for listening. Let's start a discussion.